Last week, I uploaded part one of my conversation with Wyatt Larsen of the Wildwood Hollow. We talked about shadow work. What is it? What good would it do you? Some basic ways to start. This week is part two, and we look not only further into our own experiences with shadow work, but more in depth about who can do shadow work, and to assure you that you've got support of not only people in body, but of the universe. Hello, and welcome to Blue Lightning Healing Meditations. My name is Susie Parker Goins, and this is my podcast in which I talk about metaphysical topics that are catching my attention. You can find me on the web at bluelightninghealing.com. You can contact me at susie@bluelightninghealing.com. Please like, comment, subscribe, favorite, hit the support button, share with your friends, share the love. Thanks.
Okay, let me see if I can go through my little Rolodex of questions. Have we talked about how does one know that shadow work would be beneficial? How do you know? How does a person know they need to do some shadow work?
I would say you're not excluded from anything, so you are ready for shadow work in this moment. There's always some trauma that is within us. That's just the world that we live in. You could be working and have worked on trauma for decades and still have some minute things still trigger you about something that happened when you were 3.
Okay.
It's never done. The shadow work is never complete. It's just taking it one step at a time. Oh, this trigger happened for this reason. What's going on behind that? I need to look at that. And no, you're not always going to be crying and bawling and sobbing. It's just taking that moment to recognize what's going on. The more that you just step outside your body, like, whoa, what was that? I need to look at that and actually do it. That could be shadow work at its
So self-awareness is really important.
Exactly.
To be self-aware and go, gee, what was that about?
Yeah.
So that could actually have some sort of, not preventative, but certainly
Editing Susie here. I was looking for the word proactive.
If you're looking at something and notice that nudge that says, yeah, this is a trigger for you, and then you can look at it so it's not going to be as explosive in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
It's that letting it build up that's going to cause that big reaction.
Right. I feel like you're ready for shadow work when you feel the fire. What I mean by that is anger or frustration, whatever was said. Road rage is a great thing, or not a great thing, a great example. Not a great thing. Please disregard that.
It's a great cue.
Yeah. Road rage is a great example. When you are really someone cut you off, you feel that anger in your stomach or your chest or wherever, and you're just like, and it's hot and muggy, and you're just letting the fire rage, and you just want them to know your thoughts, and so you fire this thunderbolt towards them of anger. It's that same reaction in whatever we experience in life. That is when you have shadow work to do. Or it could be the opposite, when you start feeling the thunderstorms of depression or sadness. Where is this coming from? What is going on with that? Why do I feel so disempowered?
Yeah.
Because of this, feeling those kind of reactions, knowing what's going on in your body will tell you there's something there. I need to dig at it. I need to find the bone. I need to, whatever that is, it's time to do that work.
Yeah. We've already talked about why somebody would resist doing the shadow work, because they're afraid of what they're going to find. I have found that there have been some people who have wanted to do a session with me, but they were afraid of what they would find.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was going to be something about whether I would be judging them for what we found, because I wouldn't, but they were afraid of what they were going to find. And some folks work so hard to bury it, that to really look at it, I can see where they would not want to go that deeply. I just can't deny the impact that shadow work has to open you up to that feeling of, wow, that doesn't weigh me down anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That feeling of freedom, of liberation, lightness. I hear that a lot in sessions. Wow, I feel lighter when we go and clear stuff out. And it's something to maintain. It's, it's like a garden. You're maintaining it and trying to keep it clear and healthy. So we've talked about how shadow work doesn't have to be explosive each and every time you look at it. You do find something, wonder where it comes from, and deal with it. Does it get easy at any point? If you're doing so much shadow work, if you're doing a lot of shadow work, is there some point where you just think, oh, okay, yeah, that bugged me. Oof, it's done.
I think it depends on what it's referring to, what you are working on. Because, I mean, for me, I've worked on a lot of trauma, and there's some topics that it is easy for me to just let go. But then there's also some topics where it's been years and it's still really heavy. So it really depends on what you're looking at, what the topic is, who it's about, if it's surrounding someone else. But at what point are you going to take responsibility of your own healing?
I think that's crucial. At what point are you taking responsibility for yourself?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, we get people who say, can you check in on this person? There was one woman who was insistent, and I said, this isn't about that person. This is about you. And she never came to me again, which was fine. I don't see where healing can happen if you're just glossing over it and saying, oh, that'll go away. It's that'll go away. It'll resolve itself. That
And
it
some
doesn't
things
work.
do, but most things do not.
No, they don't just evaporate. So finding a safe place in which to do it, a safe person who can share and hold the space. I see where space holder or somebody, has it recently been put, the word container has been used quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Having a safe container. It's been explained to me as having some sort of energetic grid that one can maintain, a practitioner can maintain, to allow the client a safe place that's protective, that can help them heal, in which they can do that healing work.
Right.
Because as practitioners, we don't heal you. We give you the tools, we guide you, we hold the space in which you feel empowered to do that healing work.
Right.
I don't want to have some sort of glib thing like all healing is self-healing, because there's focused intention that happens, all of these energy, send energy to my mother-in-law or blah, 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 all those works, all those things come together, but it's certainly whether the recipient is really truly going to receive it. And that's where healing happens, is if somebody's open to it. So being open to your own soul work.
Yes. Give yourself permission to experience a healing.
That's a great phrase. Give yourself permission. Why would somebody not give themselves permission, aside from that fear of what they're going to find, that fear of the fear?
Sometimes they just don't know,
Okay.
They don't know that they need to give themselves permission. They have set up a roadblock, or they have set up a block because of childhood issues. Their parents don't believe in this and instilled that belief in them. Yeah. And now they're trying to grow, but they don't know it. They have to.
This is the way we've always done it.
Yeah. This is like how it's always been done. It doesn't need to change. Those are usually the people that are experiencing trauma the most.
Yeah. We've always done this. Oh, you'll grow out of it. It's like,
the amount of times, if I've had a nickel for each time I've heard that, I would be rich.
Oh, gosh. So giving oneself permission, it seems to me, is one of those first steps. To recognize it, to give yourself permission. And then there are so many tools available, whether it's journaling or I can see ritual as being a part of it. And it's not church necessarily or some sort of spell, but it's something that you do. For me, ritual is something that you do again and again. And each time you do it, it increases the power. And so there's more power behind it.
Precisely.
It's like building momentum. Mm-hmm. So every time you say that affirmation, I love myself just because, the more I say it, the more power it's going to give, and it's going to have an impact on me to fully accept myself. And you can do the same with any affirmation. Affirmations, oh my gosh, those are such a thorn in my side, though, because I work so hard. For me, it's important. Language is important. You want to put the right words to it, and then you want to make it inclusive. I have a client who says, I do blah, blah, blah in all time, space, dimension, and it's just trying to cover all of the bases. What are the parts? what makes a good affirmation? How long does it have to take to craft? I know people who blow them out just right here. And for me, I'm stressing over it. What are some good parameters for these supportive affirmations?
Well, I can tell you. Really, if you want to learn more about affirmations, Louise Hay has written a book called You Can Heal Your Life, and she was a practitioner. She has transitioned
Yeah.
now, but she was a practitioner who used affirmations to heal her clients. She healed a lady of nearsightedness.
Really?
She no longer had to use glasses. But the funny thing is I can't believe this. I can't believe this. I can see again. I can't believe this. The next day she required glasses because she kept saying that.
She can't believe it. Yeah,
And
I just
so,
don't use the words always and never precisely for those reasons. My son said something today. It's like, oh, it never works out. And I'm in my head going, cancel, 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 delete, delete, delete. Love, love, love.
Editing Susie here again. What I say is cancel, 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 delete, 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 love, love, love.
I could say it out loud so he could hear it. That's the next step. So, okay, so I am familiar with Louise Hay, and I do have that little bit of, nah, really? So,
yeah, Louise Hay. So my boss actually gave me that book when I was going through the middle of my breakup through this trauma that I most recently went through. And it has provided so much insight and ability to be able to heal myself just through affirmations. And when you are crafting an affirmation, there are many different ways to do it, but never say can't. Nothing in negative, especially with the English language, nothing in negative. It's, one of the affirmations that Louise Hay has created is everything is working out for my highest good.
oh, that sounds so easy. And yet I would have added conditions to it.
Yeah. No.
Okay. Everything is working out for my highest good.
Yep.
That feels really good. Okay.
It's so easy. Another affirmation. So I actually got this for a client. He came to me and he's like, "Oh no, I just felt like I needed a healing or whatnot." And he had experienced me because he was holding space for his friend who got a healing. And so he thus got a healing for himself. And the spirits gave me an affirmation to give him. And his was, I am worthy of, what was it? I am worthy of myself, essentially. I'm worthy of the power of me.
I'm glad we're recording this. Those are awesome.
Yeah, they're great. That one kind of developed as I was looking at it because he had 3 soul essences that were returned to him, and each one had a separate part of this affirmation.
Okay, soul essences. So you did some soul retrieval then?
Soul retrieval, yeah.
Okay, got it.
So for a soul retrieval, each one of these told me a different thing. And then when I was looking at it, I'm like, oh, that's an entire affirmation right there. I'm worthy of the power of me. So
I like that. So yeah, there's a friend of mine I'd love to get on this, Sandy McNaughton, who is a life coach, and she talks about how you get your affirmations to speak in the present as if you already have it.
Yes, correct. Like, I don't have $1 million right now, but I have $1 million right now. Don't say the don't part. Just currently.
Erase that. Cancel, 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 delete, 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 love, love, love. Yeah.
It's, I have $1 million. I have $1 million. I am $1 million. It's, another one is I feel good. I feel fine. I feel this way all the time. I use that so many times. I just repeat it. It's on repeat as I'm laying there in bed sick, sniveling. I'm like, I feel great. I feel fine. I feel this way all the time.
But you can get a little dance in there too.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. I think, yeah. And that goes back to you when you were doing your malas through the store and repeating it, and you're working that into your muscle memory. Muscle memory, I think, is really important. It helps you. So muscle memory, if you have a muscle memory of responding in a particular way that's not very kind, you can retrain that. And so doing the repetitive affirmations, especially if you're moving while you're doing it, Lorelei Shamayo assigns some motions to some of these. This is who I was. This is who I am. Mm-hmm. And something like that, where she has her hands on her chest and then she opens her arms out. I can see we're integrating. Okay. I can see we're calling in the different components of your whole body. You're moving your body, you're calling your mind into it, you're kicking in the emotions and reminding yourself of what that feeling is. And the soul is the spirit is just riding around going, well, yeah, thanks for coming along. We knew this all along. Your soul knows that you are divinely perfect, and then getting your emotions to not go, oh, no, I'm okay, and your mind going, well, you've got this spot here, but calling in all of those components to action, that's the way to get it really cemented in there. So using the affirmations can help shift a trauma, right?
It can help you shift your perspective of a trauma.
Okay, that's an important phrase. Can shift your perspective of the trauma. And we've already talked about how the trauma doesn't ever really go away, but it becomes a scar. And that's part of that terrain, that emotional terrain, the spiritual terrain, where, there's landmarks, I guess you could call it. So this scar, that's when the one that's in the, I don't know, that's not a thumb pit, but in the thumb, that's where I tried to slice that lettuce and didn't need to do it. And then I've got the other scars. And so it allows you that roadmap to see your growth. Like a place marker, a bookmark. This is part of my growth here, and this emotional scar is that there, but scars do fade after a while. So they're not as in your face.
Right.
And that's where the integration comes in. And I talk about integrating the wisdom of an event. In pretty much every meditation I do, you're integrating that wisdom. So that's what another way to look at shadow work is, to integrate the wisdom from something.
Right.
And I was about to get flippant and say, oh, and then another trauma happens, but it doesn't always have to. Because as you're diffusing it, as you're integrating it, those triggers don't have so much of a trigger like that stop sign that nobody hits, that everybody passes through at the grocery store. What was that trauma that caused that feeling from me? And then I can go, okay, that's really not a good example at all. That's pretty silly.
No, it's a wonderful example.
Okay.
I guess another one, since you said that, I guess another one is when I was going through this breakup, through the trauma of it, sometimes I still experience this sadness. I still want my ex. I still want to experience him, but it's not healthy to be able to experience what he has to offer. Because one, now I realize that I was placing him on a pedestal, and I more liked the relationship with him than I actually liked him.
Oh,
and now
okay.
I'm actually able to speak his name or hear his name and not be as triggered. Because there was days where I'm like, I don't want to hear about him. I don't want to know that he exists,
Yeah.
So now there's like these road marks, this process that you can see. A year ago, I was crying, screaming on the floor. Now, look at me. I'm talking about this openly. There's quite a process to it. And the only way that you can do that is through it.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah. You've got to go through it. Those are the clients I really like. And it's just the way I've gone through a lot of my shadow work is like, push up your sleeves, roll them up. Let's go take care of this thing. And assuring people that they're not alone. I think that's the way I've gotten through most of my traumas. The traumas I've had, like when my mom died, we were cut off. My youngest sister and I were cut off because they thought they were protecting us by not telling us what was going on. And so when I'm in there saying goodbye, it's like, what the hell's going on? I don't get it. So that's been a trauma. I still feel emotion releasing around. And then I had my own experience where it's like, okay, I took that wisdom that I got from my childhood and applied it to this experience. And it's a different kind of trauma, but we all talked about it. Hopefully we were, I don't know, less traumatized is not. No, it was my trauma and it was my family's trauma. So, but having that previous trauma brought into it was pretty eye-opening, to say the least, to hear that. So that helped to work some of that away. What started that line of thought? Our own traumas, we're able to get through it. I don't think it would be fair for us to say we just can't have trauma at all, because trauma is what helps us grow. And it's the effect of this previous trauma that has put me on a different path. If everything went well, or everybody lives, as the ninth doctor once said, and everybody lives, like, but that's a different path altogether. So
Right.
this is right. Okay. So it's all part of our journey and it's not going to be a straight line. You know, those memes like, this is my plan, point A to B, this is the reality, and it looks like a tangled ball of yarn. It's like, yeah, that's okay. So it's
Yeah.
through trauma that we grow. I don't invite trauma. But when
Yeah.
it shows up, we can work through it. And that's where shadow work really comes in to help, comes in to play. What else? So other tools, what other tools do we have? I have my friendly neighborhood shaman who can help me. Now we've
Um,
got identifying it, journaling, meditation.
why not? You
Okay.
know, a lot of these, there is a recurring theme to it, and it's you are altering your consciousness. You are altering your space. When you're writing, you're entering into a trance of sorts. When you
Yeah.
are crying is highly
Oh yeah.
trans. I don't know.
It's an alternate reality. It is a different
Yeah.
plane of consciousness, not an alternate reality, but it is certainly puts you in a different headspace.
Right. And when you're working on this, praying through the mala with a affirmation, you are most definitely not in the same consciousness as you were 10 minutes before you did it.
Right.
Meditation is the same thing, journeying to the spirits with my lovely drum.
Okay, so what's the difference between meditation and a journey?
Um, to me, a journey is your free soul is out experiencing and looking for information to bring back. A meditation, you are within your body experiencing yourself. You are calming your emotions, calming your mind. Thoughts can come up, but the entire and there are many different kinds of meditation, but the meditation that I'm referring to, seeing your thoughts as a river, and you can experience them, but you let them flow on. You don't let them take up residence in your mind. So for a lot of people are like, oh, to meditate, you have to clear your mind of all thoughts. That's not true. That's impossible. But you don't want to hang on to thoughts. You want to let it flow, and you want to see yourself outside of this flow of thought. And so that's, to me, that's what meditation is. You can meditate on a specific topic and find the intricacies and different wisdoms and information found within that. But journey, you're going into non-ordinary reality. You are experiencing spiritual experiences. You're walking with spirit. You're going to the spirits to gain information.
Oh, okay. So they're
So,
not interchangeable.
no, not really.
No.
A guided meditation is really a guided journey because you're guiding them on an experience.
So journey is a shamanic term.
More or less, yeah.
More or less. Okay. I mean, that's the way I've heard it used. That's the context in which I've heard it used, is in a shamanic context.
Mm-hmm.
And we've already talked about how getting hypnotized on YouTube or
yeah, those are fun.
It can happen.
It can. I experienced it.
Yes.
Or my brother did.
What other tools does a shaman in particular? What tools would you use as a shamanic practitioner?
So if I'm visiting another shaman, let's say, I'm a client of myself and I want to come to me, a healing is working through the shadow. You are getting the soul pieces that occurred during that trauma. You're getting a power retrieval, which is going to empower you to be able to work through the trauma. You're getting extraction, which extraction is removing energy that no longer or has never served you in your highest purpose.
Okay.
So removing this energy, it could be hatred that's found in the heart. I referred to it last time we were together, as sometimes I'll see snakes in someone's heart, or spiders in the pit of their stomach, or
Right.
things bearing their teeth, or something like gross. It's whatever it is, it's showing me that it's energy that needs to be removed. It's the spirit showing me it's time for it to be removed. And maybe there's a compassionate depossession, a spirit that has attached itself. It's time for us to remove that spirit and help them move on, and then we can continue the healing. There's a lot of different things that occur because we're looking at the root cause of this trauma, We're looking at the root cause of what you experienced during what occurred for you to do shadow work, and then putting that all into you and giving you the tools to be able to work through this in an empowered state and not disempowered state.
So shadow work is very empowering.
I would say so. A lot of people don't
so.
see it that way, but I think it is.
They don't see it as that way. I can see it as them going, oh, I have to face my fears. And I feel that, somebody just slapping you on the back of your shoulder going, gonna butch up. It's like, no, there's more to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's certainly, and people certainly benefit from it, probably in ways they didn't realize. One could be so accustomed to feeling that trauma and feeling the triggers that they don't know any other way. Like we talked about earlier, that's the way we've always done it. And so breaking that cycle, that's an opportunity. Shadow work allows you to break the cycles of trauma if they're recurring. And therefore, we talked about de-escalation, but reduces the impact it has so that you can, I would think, ultimately not be impacted by this trauma anymore, but it's that scar.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Do you have any closing thoughts? Because I think I've run through my questions.
Yeah, and I don't have any questions either.
Okay.
No, not really.
Okay. Because we covered it's a good thing to do. It takes courage to do it.
It very much takes courage.
Like that. Yeah, no lie. Yeah, I think so. And there are lots of tools. I mean, you can have all the crystals and paper and candles in the world to do it, but ultimately you have to have that will, that determination in which to look at it and to look deeply within oneself. But it's not a bad thing to ask somebody to support you in it. I love the idea when you said to give yourself permission to feel that and to recognize that it's something that needs to be done, and understanding these are baby steps you take. It can have big benefits for you and allow you to function more fully, be more present in your life.
Right. And physical tools hold no light to the tools of consciousness, I'm going to put it.
Okay.
And your strength of will and courage to move through this,
Yeah.
It's strong and empowering, and it's a very potent medicine, and some people don't want to work through it, but it's something that we all do, and we will never grow if we don't.
Yeah. Growth doesn't happen without seeing the shadows and without looking at that. And to glamorize it, I think is a disservice to it, because sometimes you do have to get into the muck and mire of it and get dirty, but then you do come out of it. But I don't want to over glamorize the muck and the mire. It's a process, and it happens. People are better for doing that. And the courage, it's just, I won't deny or diminish the amount of courage it takes.
Right.
To be able to take it on. Okay.
Sometimes there's stars, but many times there's the muck and mire that you're talking about. It's always a balance.
Yeah. I encourage anybody listening that if you have shadow work to do, contact Wyatt, contact me, contact somebody to help you, whether it's a practitioner, an energy healer of any sort, a therapist, totally fine, a doctor. I mean, there are so many resources available. But the first step is admitting or accepting that this is something you can do. And then finding that practitioner of whatever sort who resonates with you, who makes you feel comfortable and safe. Because if you work with somebody you don't feel safe with, well, we're just kind of piling onto it. Thanks again, Wyatt. I love this, and I'll be seeing you in like an hour and a half somewhere else. But this is awesome. I do appreciate your insight and your experience and the vulnerability that you displayed as you're talking about your own journey. I appreciate that very much. Let's get that another shot, that other promo for you in here now.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Susie. I always enjoy coming on. Again, I'm Wyatt from the Wildwood Hollow. You can find me at thewildwoodhollow.com. It's quite a process. And, being able to work through your own trauma, like we said, is empowering. And know that you're never alone. And we are here, Susie and I, and anyone else that you go to. We support you in your journey. Man, what are some things going on? I'm still working on that journey class and group that is nearing completion. So keep tuned in, head over to my website, subscribe, and I'll be putting that out hopefully in the next month to be able to
So we're
provide
talking
a new.
June, July,
Thinking about mid-June. Yeah.
mid-June. Okay. Okay. Well, that'll give us a timestamp or something. So it's like Wyatt's gonna start his group. I gotta get this up soon. Okay. Oh God. Oh God.
Yeah. No, you have time.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Well, thanks so much. This is Susie from Blue Lightning Healing Meditations. I'm really grateful. You are a tremendous resource and a kind and gentle soul, and somebody I just absolutely enjoy talking to. Yes, we'll have to do it again. I'll come up with something
Absolutely.
else. And we'll,
Absolutely. Thank you, Susie. Love you all.
thanks. Blessings.